when I was two, I remembered introducing myself in front of the whole class, and I was literally emphasizing on a point that I am a girl with long hair. And when I think about it now, I realize how problematic and ingrained my perspective of gender and sexuality was. I today invite Ayush and Vaishnavi to tell more about the LGBTQIA plus community and their notion of sexuality and gender. Okay, Ayush, I have a question for you. I have read about your article and I found it very interesting. Could you please tell us and our audience that how did you figure out your gender identity?
I always, I think since my childhood, I knew that I am a little different, right? So I always felt a little different than my cousins or the friends that I had in school. So I always felt different than that. And basically, I was outcasted for for being different, right? Because I was always this expressive child and I would always, put myself out there. So yeah, it was always that. And so I always knew that I was different. And I think and because us time pe there was no there was very short access to internet and all of these stuff, and community LGBT say related, there was no stuff to read in the school library or something like that. So there was no way I could get to know how to explore this arena, right? So, but then and so I always knew that I'm different, but I never got myself to be labeled by anything. So I remembered this one incident that happened in my school when so I was in class 11th when I realized this, right? And I had my friends who had just gotten into school, they were new admissions. So, and they were from Pune, somebody was from somewhere else, and they had a lot of knowledge about these things, right? And so they used to, I used to hang out with them, so they used to discuss about the community and everything. And that is when I got to know that okay, there is something which I relate to, what they're talking about, that is what I relate to. And that is when I got hold of how to how this whole thing works and what do I label myself into. And that is when I actually got to know what exactly does the term gay means, and that is what I relate to. So that is how I realized. I mean, I always knew I was different, right? And I always had those, school ke jo bullies hote hain, they always label you ki gay or chakka or something like that, but I never knew what exactly does that mean. But when I met those friends and when I talked to them and I read about those, I actually read a lot about those things, and then I got to know, okay, this is what I relate to. So that is how I realized, okay, I am gay. So that was for me in class 11th. It's usually like these days when I meet with a lot of people, they already know about their sexuality when they are in class 6th or 7th or something. But for me, it was I was when I was 16 or when I was 16 or 17. That is when I realized, because I actually had no access to anything to read stuff or to internet or anything. So yeah, that is when I realized in my class 11th. Thanks to my friends for that. So yeah.
All right. Vaishnavi, do you want to tell something about this or how did
Um,
you figure out?
sure. Mine is a trip because it all started out in peer pressure in grade 7. Just similar to Ayush, I always knew there was something off. I thought either up here I'm out, or in general, maybe the people that I'm hanging out with, it's not, I mean, I don't fit there, I don't fit enough. It's like this one really wrong piece of puzzle just trying very hard to just get inside and just trying to fit, right? And then in 7th grade I had my friend circle and they were all just getting into relationships. I was forced to get into one 3 days in, and I knew this is something I can't do. I don't think I can. And then I realized, okay, fine, all my friends are getting into this. I should also do it so I can fit. And dekhte, I think I ended up literally going around dating people for, I don't know, God knows how long, how short, just randomly dating. And I never realized that there's something actually wrong. That, okay, why am I going behind people so much that it just made me feel confused that why is it not clicking? Why am I not feeling these fireworks, or why am I not getting butterflies in my stomach when I'm with my boyfriend or something. And then we never had um, a woman who was from the community as famous as perhaps Freddie Mercury or something back then. So we don't have representation of women who are in the community. And I just thought, okay, fine, it's just with guys and not with girls, so definitely something is wrong with me. Because I never grew up with some celebrity or some icon that I knew of back then. And well, then in 10th standard, so late in life, I met a friend of mine who told me that she's bisexual. That was the first time I ever heard what bisexual means. And I thought bisexual means you are a man and a woman, and I did that. Okay, bisexual. So I think it's two, because again, no representation, no awareness, crazy. And then I thought, okay, fine, maybe it's me too. Like, maybe I feel the same. And then that's when I went downhill, tumbling down, and I had a lot of girlfriends. And then I realized, okay, you know what? Maybe I am into women more than I am into men. And that also changed. So I came out as bisexual to my friends. But then there was also a phase in my life where I was literally not attracted to any male or any cisgendered male, to be honest. I was actually attracted to other people in the community, but definitely not cis male. Um, then I came out as lesbian for 2 years. And then again, it's fluid. It just went fluid. It's just me exploring. And then too many terms, too many experiences. And well, now I am happy. And, knowing that I am more into women, I'm actually with a guy now. Again, it's very fluid for me. I think sexuality just goes in like water for me. And that's when I came out as permanently, you know what, I'm queer. I'm something in the spectrum. Definitely not straight, but something.
You said no, you are now you are happy, and that what it really should matter. This remind me that our schooling system should educate us to so that a same is ingrained in us. So that at the early stage, it is the best time to let us know about all kinds of people and to accept all and not treat anybody so differently. What exactly is the difference between gender and sexuality?
Sex is what we are assigned when a child is born, right? That is biological. But then gender is how I see myself. Maybe I feel like a woman inside me, but then I'm assigned a male genital organ, right? So that is my gender, that I feel like a woman inside, but then I'm assigned to that. And sexuality is basically how I express myself. So maybe it's a huge spectrum, and there is no particular definition to it, right? So even if somebody, if for example, if there's a trans man we're talking about, right? So that it's not necessary if they're transitioning, so they might only just because they're transitioning themselves into a man, so they would only be interested in a woman, right? It can be anything. So yeah, I mean, sexuality is just about how you express yourself more, for me, I mean, and gender is basically how you feel about yourself. So, yeah.
Thank you for this much needed information. Now, I really want to ask you guys that what is actually the LGBTQIA plus community? What is something that you want to tell people outside the community?
Okay, well, I would say that it just goes on and on and on. Like adding on to what Ayush had also mentioned about gender and sexuality. Gender is a huge spectrum. It's huge. And to just sum it up, gender is what you feel up here in your head, and sexuality who you're attracted to, who you're attracted towards. Okay. And then when we're talking specifically about the LGBTQAI, each thing is like an acronym. The most common thing that we have heard is either lesbians, gays, transgenders, and bisexuals. And then people are slowly getting aware, okay, there's transsexual, there's intersex, there is asexual, there's aromantic, there's pansexual, there is queer, which is just an umbrella term for all of these. So for people who do not want to do labels, or are not really into labels themselves and feel like I am not, a bottle of Nutella to be labeled, so I'd rather just say I'm queer. And that just sums it all up. It's a huge thing, and it's basically everything away from heteronormativity, everything away from heterosexuality, everything away from a cis man and a cis woman falling in love.
So now I have another a question going in my mind, that it is related to cross-dressing and makeup. Cross-dressing and makeup are often associated with the LGBTQIA plus community. So what is your take on that?
See, I love wearing heels. Okay. And I love to wear like these gothic jewelry or like huge ass rings or something like that. So, cross dressing is more of a person, for example, if there's a man who dresses up like a woman, so it's mostly considered only that to completely transition yourself, right? But then for example, if I dress up for a festival here, so I would just throw on a random dupatta with my outfit, or I'll just throw on some heels or something like that. So honestly, it's just how a person feels comfortable and also likes to see themselves in a mirror, right? I like to see myself too tall and like something like that. I imagine myself and I feel happy when I look at myself looking like that, right? So if I feel comfortable doing that, I don't think there is anybody else's opinion that I would really take down with me. I would really be okay, then this is what I like and this is what I like to wear, so it's really fine. And that is why I don't care. I mean, see, if it was only I mean, see, cross dressing mostly hota kya hai na, people look down upon when a guy dresses up a little bit feminine, right? Or does, or is wearing something feminine, right? But for example, if a like you, and why is that? Because girls ka wearing t-shirt jeans is all normalized, right? So that is still not utna zyada us pe frown nahi karte log. But when a guy does that, it is definitely, I do the, I see this every day in my campus, right? Like for like any random thing that I do, people do stare here a lot. But at the end of the day, I feel comfortable wearing that. I feel beautiful wearing that. And that is what makes me happy. And honestly, there are 100 people here in, as students or whatever, staff workers and all of that. But when whatever I'm wearing, if that makes me happy and if that, makes me feel beautiful, and then there are my friends who also appreciate it, I don't really care about the rest 95 people here. So yeah, that is what I think. So
Okay. Vaishnavi, what are your opinions on it?
The, again, it's just that, what, people just hate it when others do not follow culture norms, or they do not follow what society wants them to follow. So it's मतलब जल जाती है लोगों की. It's kind of sad. But makeup and cross dressing, this has been going on for ages. It's been going on from Shakespearean eras, even traditional outfits. Man, I think in Gujarat, when they're playing dandiya, the guys look way beautiful, in the typical attire of dandiya, and I think they look amazing. Even in Rajasthan or any of these typical cultural events which it happens, they look amazing. And well, like Ayush has said, अगर if somebody has an issue with me, वो तेरा issue है, मेरा नहीं है ना.
Yeah.
So I think it's not just the LGBT thing. I think it's been going on for theater. It's there for cosplaying. It's also a kink. I know cishet males who love dressing up as women because it's their kink. Again, it's just way more interlocked than just the community. And again, lack of awareness just makes them feel like, okay, if you're dressing up as a woman or like wearing womanly clothes, first of all, clothes don't have a definition. You're just saying कि ये women section है, ये male section है, but कपड़ा कपड़ा ही होता है यार. It's literally just a cloth. who is wearing it, it's
Right.
yours then. So I
Also, there is culture of drag queens and drag kings, right? So that is such a beautiful art, and like I just admire them, and I just I'm in awe of how do they pull that off. And mostly, like, I would, someday I just imagine, can I ever do that? But it's not like, I don't find that different any different. I mean, that's an art, right? It's an art of expressing themselves. So why would even somebody want to judge that or something? It's an art, and if somebody's just making them feel good, why not? So yeah.
No, I completely agree with both of you here. Okay, now coming to the next question, like related to Section 377. We all know that Section 377 has criminalized the homosexual activity. But do you guys think that the society has accepted it?
See, now that it is decriminalized, I think we have some backup, as a defense. For example, if I am holding my boyfriend's hand at a park, before decriminalization, I would be scared to, do that, because मेरे पास defense नहीं है. If somebody tells me कि you're doing it wrong, I cannot say that it's not wrong, because the law does not allow it, right? But now that it is decriminalized, I have a backup to say that, what, this is decriminalized now, so I can do whatever I want. But then when we come to society, so for example, if I'm now, let's just say that I'm looking for a flat with my boyfriend, right? So I cannot tell my landlord or the possible neighbors that he's my boyfriend, because of course they'll make opinions. They will definitely, you know have some negative. If they're homophobic, they will definitely have some negative thought about it. So what I have to do in that case is that I'll have to say ki we are both students of a particular college, or we work together, or just that we are brothers, right? Something like that, which does not say that we are a couple, right? So I don't think society wise it has helped a lot. It may have it see it has definitely given a lot of community people a lot of courage to come out, right? Because now they know they have some backup for themselves. But then it's not helped a lot in terms of general how heterosexual people might live their life, how easy it is for them. So for society, as per society, I don't think it has helped a lot, because see, एक लॉ पास कर देने से पूरे इंडिया का पॉपुलेशन का मेंटालिटी चेंज नहीं हो जाएगा, राइट? So society wise, and honestly, we cannot even expect such a huge change to happen so early. I mean, it's just been 2 or 3 years now. So it's too soon to expect such a big change. But yes, now that we have some backup, that gives a lot of courage. Ki, okay, I can hold my boyfriend's hand anywhere. I can walk with him in the night and not be bullied by someone. Right. So yes, I definitely have a lot of backup. I have some sense of security. But society wise, no, I don't think that has helped a lot.
All right. Vaishnavi, do you think that there should be some amendment or so many changes that law can, so that to facilitate normalization?
to facilitate normalization, I don't think a law can really help, because तुम law तो pass करोगे, वो implement भी तो होना चाहिए.
Correct.
Right. Again, the whole scenario with Section 377, that's the tip of the iceberg, which is going to unfold a huge Pandora box full of issues in the community. There is healthcare, then there's licensure, there are bills which need to be passed, like the transgender bills, there's adoption rights which needs to happen, marriage rights which needs to happen. Section 377 is just telling you that you are not a criminal. But is it going to guarantee you the same rights as a heterosexual person? I think not. There's still a lot of work left to be done, and there are really great people who are working towards it. Well, again, the judges हो जाता है sometimes, but again, I'm talking about this, and he's talking about it from a very privileged perspective. So it might be biased as well. We have no idea what another person, perhaps who is not at a financial, mental, physical, emotional state in which we are, is facing right now, with only section 377 telling them that कि तुम criminal नहीं हो. बाकी का क्या? What about your job? What about if you're a transgender? What about your rights? Will you be able to work? Will you get a pension? Will you get a house? Can you get a loan?
Can we get
It's,
married? Can we adopt a child? No, there is a lot.
it's just
It
going to
is
keep
important.
unboxing. Yeah, it's a huge
Okay.
thing.
You said that about you just said that there are different perspectives, and with this I have in mind that, do you think that LGBTQIA plus community is unified? And by term unified, I mean that I have seen that uh, we have observed that instead of one large parade, there are 5 to 6 parades going on at the same time, and the fact that they are all are a part of the same movement. So what are your opinions on it?
Again, there are certain NGOs, there are certain groups or certain part of the community that only wants to do parades, only wants to do events like these, which are fun. Okay, but when it comes to actually helping our people, with perhaps official work like the law or something of that sort, like ऐसे jail में डाल दिया, या फिर there's some financial issues, they back off. They just back off because then they say कि आप अपना देखो, हम celebrate करेंगे. So ever since 377 has been, the recriminalization has happened, there have been parties, and I don't see these NGOs working towards, you know, um, unwrapping other events that is happening in the community. Because again, the people who are handling these NGOs come from a particular section of the society which is privileged. They have a backup plan. They know that kuch hua to nahi, but I know I'm going to survive. But what about the other people who are not? And then giving a voice to them, again, there's a tiff in the community itself. It's not as happy as people think it is, that okay, fine, this person is from my community, I am also from the same community, so maybe this person is going to help or is going to be nice to me. God damn, it's literally the same thing that heterosexuals face. The same thing, like you have a friend circle, and people say, okay, fine, you use XYZ phone, but I use ABC phone, right? There's the same thing in the community as well, that you are following XYZ people, but I am following ABC people, right? So it's very different in the community as well. I don't know why people paint a rosy picture about it, or they are not really giving the community the right voice that they need, and they just portray it as happy, or just either it's happiness or it's just कि we are having fun. थोड़ा सा struggle दिखाया रहेगा, and that's about it. Again, from an upper class view. So lots of things to.
Okay, all right. So what do you guys, what do the LGBTQIA plus community wants from the society? Basically, people, what I mean is that, what do you expect from the ones who do not belong to this community?
See, normally the answer when somebody asks you what does the LGBTQI community expects from the, like, the rest of the population, uska answer would be acceptance. For me, it's not acceptance because I have accepted myself. I don't care about anybody else accepting me, right? So I only want that they do not treat me any less or any more than themselves, right? Just because I am gay does not mean तुम मुझे अलग treat करो. Don't give me special treatment in a good way or in a bad way. Just treat me like you would treat any other person. That is what I expect from the society. कि don't, ये भी नहीं कि just because I'm gay and I'm very expressive तुम मुझे pedestal पे बिठा के रखो, और and at the same time मैं ये भी नहीं चाहता कि तुम मुझे अपने जूते के नीचे देखो, right? I want how you see your other friends, your other people, your other family members. I do not want myself to be on a spot. I just want to gel up with the rest of the crowd. That is what, for me, I mean, that is what I would expect from society. Ki, uh, just treat us like normal human beings, not any better, not any worse, just normal human beings. That is what I expect. That is what I'm a very, how do I say, I don't know, very gullible in that way. So I don't like a lot of extra stuff. So I like to be in sync with the rest of the people around me. So yeah.
Well, I actually do agree with what Ayush is saying. Acceptance तो हो गया, decriminalize तो कर दिया, अब बचा है rights का. Give us the same rights that a normal person gets. You know, the same respect, the same way you're treating us, the same everything. Because me me having this gender or me having this sexuality is not me, it's a part of me. I'm still human, so I do deserve the same rights that you have, right? So this is what really gets to people when you make a person's sexuality the person itself. So it's like referring to Ayush as not Ayush who is doing XYZ course, but it's referring to, okay, he's that gay guy who's on campus. That just becomes his entire identity. That is not your identity, which I think people fail to differentiate, because you're human first and then you are your sexual orientation, you're your gender later. So I guess it's definitely about equal rights and everything that we can receive, which other people get, and no discrimination, of course.
Okay. Yes, I completely agree with you. So now, if I ask you that, what would you say to 10-year-old you? Because around that time, we all have our own perception about ourselves. So what would you say to your 10-year-old you?
Well, my 10-year-old was going through hell because I had to go to therapy because I was not attracted to men. I was not attracted to boys at all. And I was this close to getting a conversion therapy. That's when my mother realized that, okay, that is shock. She's not, what do you say? She was not concerned that I'm not into guys, but she was concerned that मेरी बच्ची को shock लगने वाला है. So we do not want this type of intervention. We want another one, right? So I would definitely, if I'm going to tell my 10-year-old version, I would have just told her like, listen, dude, people having an issue with you is not your issue, it's theirs. You know, and if at all you can find a really good like a person to fall back to, if you have a good circle that you can rely on, I think that makes more than half of your problems go away, because you do know you can fall back to somebody and not be lonely and they keep wondering like what is wrong with me, and keep just going into a spiral downwards thinking that I am not normal just because of this thing which is so celebrated. I mean, I think that's a it for me.
I would just say to my 10-year-old that it's all going to be okay. I mean, right now, you are being blamed for drawing mehendi designs in your drawing book. You're being blamed to, showing interest in cooking, and you're being blamed for walking like a girl or sitting like a girl or crying like a girl. I would just say that it's all going to be okay. You're nothing wrong. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just expressing yourself and you're just being real than any other person here, right? So I would just say that you do not need to blame yourself about being different. You are just going to be fine in a few years. I will just say that.
All right. So the last question of this podcast would be that, what do you think you want to convey to previous generations of the community? And by what term previous generation, I meant that, okay, I'll be giving you. If I was asked what do I want to say to people who fought for our country, Sweden, I would say thank you or something like that. So what do you want to say to the generation of LGBTQIA plus community which was withholding? What do you want to convey to them?
Again, like how you said, we would say thank you. I would say thank you because that is how they made us feel normalized with ourselves, right? Like they made us feel that it's okay to express ourselves the way I do today. So I would just thank them for all the progress they have, achieved, even if it is not just in India, it's outside India or anything, because our country mostly gets inspired by other countries, and then even including the Constitution of India, it's not exactly Indian. It's taken from so many countries and then it's clubbed together and named as Constitution of India, right? So they're inspired by uh, other countries. So I would definitely thank the entire community from entire world, all the countries, that they made us feel home with ourselves, right? So yeah, I would just say thank you that they made us feel normalized with ourselves, and that is why today I am what I am. So yeah, that.
Definitely agreeing to what Ayush has said, because the first Pride Parade was a revolution, it was a riot. And if that never happened, I don't think any of this could have progressed the way it is. It's slow, it's getting there. Globally, it's going on at a very good rate, but specifically India, it's going to take time. But it's also a win. After so many years, 377 going away is definitely a win, and I would definitely thank the people who work day in and day out to make this happen, and I'm forever grateful for them. But now it's time for more, and it's not just going to be them who is going to fight for us, but us as well. So yeah, it's a good team.
All right. So I said that would be my last question, but I really want to ask one more question, and I'll be concluding this. That
Sure.
what's that one thing you would like to tell to the people that who are not part of the community? Just one thing.
Well, I think I would be repeating myself if I said that, but I think it needs to be out there that my sexuality is not me. I am not that green-haired girl who's bisexual or who's into women. I am Vaishnavi. That's my identity. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Ayush?
Yeah, pretty much similar to that, because even now, right now, when I talk about my college, yes, everybody knows that gay guy from Institute of Behavioral Sciences, because that is what everybody has known to me. Some people don't even know my name. They just know my Instagram and my sexuality, right? So I want to be Ayush, who's studying forensic psychology, doing his best in his studies and achieving whatever he is, and not just that he's gay and he's into boys, right? That, and also to people who just readily and for no reason at all, they just assume that just because I'm into guys, I'm into all the guys that are around me, right? Even so, it happens that if I have some straight friend, if I make a straight friend who happens to be a boy, they would just randomly assume, are you into me? No, dude, I am not into you. I don't, I'm not that. I am into only specific people who do belong to the community. I'm not just looking down there and I'm interested, right? I am much more than that. So yeah, just that.
Now that we're about to end our podcast, I would really like to thank both of you for joining us today and sharing your journeys and opinions. And I can say this that I have learned so many things about this LGBTQ plus IA plus community. And I really believe schooling curriculum should educate us about the same, and so that it is ingrained in us from our childhood. We should not treat anybody differently because at the end, we all are people, and that's what it should matter. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for having us.
It was a lovely time.